Okay, everybody, glad you are with us here today. Longshore McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. And I got to say, it is Monday. It is the 5th of January. It finally feels like we're on a normal week. We're done with the holidays.
Yep.
Whew, it feels like December lasted 3 months.
I don't know. I think it's my first show in a while without having the Christmas tree in the background and the lights and the little ceramic Christmas tree up in the top. I don't know. I liked it better. I may just have to get lights and string them all over the place back there and have, I don't know, get a felt board or something and have lights that spell out L and M or something back there. Like the old ESPN things back in the day. Remember when you had the oval ESPN and they sat behind those cardboard, something 70s game show-ish behind.
Yeah. It's interesting you were talking about sets and what's behind us here as we broadcast. I came very close to broadcasting today out on the veranda. I said, I might just do it outside tomorrow. Then I looked and saw it was going to be like 50 degrees this morning. I went, well, maybe not. I might do that when it gets a little closer to springtime. But yeah, I was thinking about something a little bit like that yesterday. But I don't know. We'll see. But we are, I guess, somewhat back to normal. But when it comes to college football players, it's not normal because, boy, the portal has been active since Friday when we last spoke.
I mean, really active, like really active. I don't have anything that shows that is like thetransferportal.com or NCAA transferportal.com. The coaches do because they are obsessing over it right now. But I can't sit here and tell you definitively this guy is in the portal, this guy is not, this guy da-da-da, this guy. You can look at On3, you can look at Rivals, Scout, you can look at all of those things, and they're all different. I did see something on Twitter yesterday from somebody who I would trust that says there are over 3,000 players in the transfer portal. 3,000, 31.5% of all eligible college football players, 31.5 are in the transfer portal. Yeah, and in the Way Offsides podcast, they got it at 4,500.
4,500.
I mean, it's thousands. And if one out of every 3 eligible players is in the transfer portal, Jeff says it's up to 36%. I'm looking at 31%. What are we doing? What are we doing? I like the concept of you being able to move around. That's what happens to us. That's why we're here. That's, I transferred in college and all that. But man, this is, John said this on Friday, transfer portal opens up and, watch what happens. Alabama, you're going to see a few people. Today is the 4th day of 15 days of the transfer portal. Now Alabama has guys that are in that you've heard of because, they lost in the playoff. Auburn has had a few. Everybody is getting people in. Players are committing and signing right now all over the country. It's you can't keep doing this every.
Well, you're right. You get what the 36, 40%, whatever the number may be, of people that are entering the portal. And I would imagine, Barry, the number one reason that they're doing it is because they want to make more money. Playing time probably has something to do with it as well.
Yeah, that's the number 2 reason.
Financially, they're looking for a better check at the end of the day. Doesn't worry, not worried about my teammates, not worried about my team, not worried about being developed, whatever. But why 15 days? I've wondered about that. I mean, do you not already know? Or are you going to decide in this 15-day window, I think I might stick my toe into the transfer portal. I got to think you've been thinking about this for weeks, if not months. So I don't know why there's a 15-day period. Either here's the day, you do it or you don't. But it still doesn't correct the issue of what we've been hearing about. The calendar in college football is kind of crazy. Why are we doing it right now? Why do we let them? Why is there just the number of times you transfer? It doesn't matter. A lot of issues that have been brought up that I think you've got to have some serious discussion, from NIL to transfers to everything else that's in college football, because I think there are a lot of issues that are only going to get much, much worse until somebody or some group of people puts their foot down and says, we got to restructure this.
You just can't keep doing it the way we do it. And I get 15 days because a lot of the people don't know where they're going to transfer. The high profile guys, for some reason, and I don't know, I'm not saying they're wrong, but I have seen Brendan Sorsby play. He is a quarterback that's been successful at the University of Cincinnati Bearcats, right? Brendan Sorsby. The people tell us that Brendan Sorsby, a quarterback, is the number one quarterback in the transfer portal. Number one rated. How many of you legitimately knew Brendan Sorsby and who he was? I mean, I've heard of him. I've seen him play. He didn't like blow my socks off. But Brendan Sorsby gets in the portal from Cincinnati. Everybody wants him. Here's what he's done. It hadn't taken him 15 days, but again, he's a guy that everybody seems to be after for some reason. Visit to Texas Tech, visit to LSU, supposed to be. I don't know if you ever went on that visit to LSU, visit somewhere else, all within the last 48 hours. And he comes in last night and he is transferring. He announced his commitment and signing at Texas Tech. Did that all in 3 days. It ain't that he's going to Texas Tech because he can be closer to home, and going to Texas Tech because, he likes their talent. He's going there because they're expected to pay him upwards of $5 million. $5 million for Brendan Sorsby, people.
Gotta look him up.
He knows. I mean, he did not know where he was going at the beginning. He's done his due diligence. It didn't take him 15 days. You're right about that. And he's the number one guy in the thing. And he's going to go to Texas Tech, and he is going to get paid.
Did he hear what Tuberville said about living in Lubbock?
Yeah, Tuberville's coached at both places. Is Lubbock better than Cincinnati, Ohio? I don't know, but $5 million certainly has a lot to do with it. Did he say
something about Lubbock was like Iraq or something?
Iraq, yeah. But the portal, I get the 15 days because a lot of guys don't know where they're going. You're not supposed to tamper with these people. You're not supposed to let them know ahead of time.
Maybe there's two different areas there. You got X amount of days to say you're in the portal. 3. Yeah. Then you got a week to figure out where you're going. The thing I got an issue with, here it is, day 13. There's 2 more days. I've been kind of thinking about this. Yeah, maybe I'll go into the portal. Just do it, you're doing it or not. Yeah. And once you've declared, then you've got a week or so to decide where you're going to go. But I think it's like a lot of our guys on the chat line. I think these guys have a pretty good idea of 2 or 3 teams of where they're going to end up.
I believe so, too.
I don't think I need 15 days to figure it out. I think I got a pretty good idea based on, I'm going to go visit Texas A&M, Georgia, Alabama, and that's it. Wonder why those 3? No, I don't know. I just threw some darts on the wall, and those are the teams that hit.
Here, I guess I need to call them and see if they're interested in me. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. There's a couple of things about that. A lot of guys, the high-profile guys, the ones that everybody wants. Last year, there were, I'll go ahead and say it, the Jackson Arnolds that are sitting there thinking, what am I bid? Sometimes those guys don't work out, and he emphatically did not work out. But you've got a group of people, and not all of them are power 4 guys. A lot of them are a group of 5 guys, and everybody wants them. But if there are 3,000, 4,000 people in the portal, every one of them isn't a hot commodity. There are guys out there that are getting bad advice. Hey, because I'm thinking, hey, man, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're about to be a starter here. You're lucky to be a starter here. You've worked your way up for 3 years. This is your chance, and you're going to go in the portal. And they go, and nobody wants them. Or they're going to be offered less money than the school that they're currently at. The school they're at is offering them $50,000. You say, no, I can do better than that. You put your name out in the portal, and the best you're getting is $32,000.
Sure.
You go back to this school and say, hey, that $50,000 you offered me, boy, that looks pretty good to me now. And they say, no.
I'm ready for ESPN to do a 30 for 30 on all the players that thought they were going to get richer or a better situation or more playing time, and it didn't happen. Because they woke up one day that went, wait a minute. This isn't how it was supposed to play out. I was told I was going to play. I was getting more money, blah, 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 blah. And
they got their Uncle Teddy, who played college ball at Muskingum.
Yep.
And didn't start. Their Uncle Teddy says, man, I'm telling you, I can get you more money than what you're getting. Let me call some people. Let me call in some favors. Let me talk to some people I know. Come back and say, man, if you let me be your agent, I'll take 10%, 8%, something like that. And I can get you this and I can get you this. I've talked to them and they said, yeah. And he said, so, Uncle Teddy works as a groundskeeper somewhere at the local muni.
Yeah, has no idea of what being an agent is about. Sure.
None. And all of a sudden you jump in.
25% of what this kid's going to get. And that's another good point. I mean, the so-called agents, there's no regulation. There's no, certificate or process you got to go through to be a qualified agent. I could be an agent if I wanted to and take whatever percentage of the money that this kid's making. That's another issue that I think is completely out of whack. I will say this, Barry, maybe I'm naive. Maybe I should follow the roster closer. Of the Alabama players that have hit the portal, a lot of these kids I've never heard of before. I just got to tell you, I don't study the roster as deeply as maybe other people do. So a couple of these names do pop out. Tobias makes a great point about Jalen Mbakwe. It's a great article today at AL.com about being the biggest bust of Alabama's football history. That's a bold statement. But
there have been a few now. Hang on. Tobias said some of these guys are in the portal because their coaches are telling them to take a pay cut. I'm looking at you, Jalen Mbakwe.
Yeah. But some of these people, I mean, I've heard of Richard Young. There was some buzz about him. Wilkin Formby. I don't think anybody's crying about seeing that name in the portal. These other ones, I'm thinking, who?
Oh, Rock Montgomery. Cameron Howard, Josh Ford, Bubba Hampton. I'm asking you, Bubba Hampton. Yeah, okay.
Maybe way offsides. Jeff can help me with some of these names, and I'm thinking, have I heard of this guy? Maybe I have. I'd like to say I've heard of Wilkin Formick. You know why? Damn it, Wilkin Formby. If you miss another block, if I heard that once, I heard it 15 times during the season watching games with my buddies. I didn't know that guy's first name was Damn It, but I heard it a lot.
This is unfair. Tobias says DeBoer purged the offensive line room. He said offsides Jeff and me paid for a limo to take Formby to the airport. You did not. Come on.
Hey, did you stop by Taco Casa on the way to the airport?
No, and made him buy his own. That's not fair. That's not fair.
Yeah, when I saw that name, I thought, I don't think there's going to be a lot of people crying about that one.
Yeah, but, you got guys like Seth McLaughlin, who was the center a couple of years ago that Bama fans were skewering because he couldn't snap or something. He goes to Ohio State and wins a national championship. Formby may be better just getting out of Tuscaloosa.
Pete Notaro, a kicker? Who? Anyway, some of these I've just never heard of before.
Yep. Let them go.
Yeah. So what?
Now on the other side, if you want to get a contrast, now the Aubs, Woo!
Well, I have heard of some of those guys.
Coleman,
I will admit.
No. Whoa. Oh, wow.
Some of those guys I have heard of. Yeah.
Bama guys are like, who? The Auburn guys, it's like, oh, Cam Coleman. And oh, man, Malcolm Simmons. And ooh.
I wasn't going to go there. I had a feeling you were, but it is what.
Also,
there are a few on this list I've heard of, I'll admit. But
yes. Thousands of them. And, they spent the weekend. You get in the portal on the 2nd, which was Friday.
Yep.
You take your weekend visits. Isn't it interesting that as soon as you get in your portal, you got a ticket here? Hey, we'll take it. All of that just happens within a day. Brendan Sorsby has 3 visits scheduled, and he just got in the portal Friday afternoon, and he's done. And so,
this guy's busy.
It's like in Major League at the beginning. This guy's dead. Well, cross him off the list. You get all those guys that happen to be in there and happen to be out real quick and going somewhere else, like in the space of 36 hours.
See, that's another thing. We got to get this a little bit more structured. I think it's the wild, wild west, and I'm hearing all this talk, but no action. I knew a girl like that once. Anyway, I'm ready for something to happen. And Saban said it on game day from out in Pasadena. They were asking him about it. He went off on a tangent about the calendar in college football. And I thought, Coach, you might be onto something there. Maybe that's what he was talking to Greg Byrne about at the Alabama-Kentucky basketball game, because that photo, you talking about spreading like wildfire. Wonder what those two are talking about.
Did anybody put a stopwatch? Because I didn't. It caught me by surprise. Did anybody put a stopwatch on ESPN's coverage of Alabama, Kentucky from Tuscaloosa on Saturday, from when from whenever Dan Shulman and Jay Billis opened? Welcome into Coleman Coliseum. The first thing they showed, not Nate Oates, not Aiden Holloway or whoever. It's Nick Saban.
Hey, Miss
on
Terry
the side, and it was not even before they showed the picture of Dan Shulman and Jay Billis. It was Saban, and then all throughout, and he's over there talking to Greg Byrne, and
so I wondered about that.
Saban's doing this. He's going.
Did Greg walk up and say, Miss Terry, can you scoot over a minute? I need to sit here next to Nick.
That's exactly right. There was really compelling. Hey, it's basketball. SEC schedule.
When DeBoer saw that picture, what do you think he thought? Whoa, wait a minute. Can y'all at least do this behind closed doors in somebody's office? You got to do this for the whole world to see? Jeez.
Yeah. So we are underway. We'll talk a little basketball.
And speaking of DeBoer, we're going to talk a little bit about him too when we get back. He soured on me.
He lost. Come on, man. Losing a game. Who do you think you are? He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. We're underway on the Monday Show live. You can check us out at any time during the day at all of the different media that we are on, and we're on a lot. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
Hey, bro, weirdest thing is happening at the game. This guy sitting next to me says, "You're our good luck charm." Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown. Now his entire family wants to buy me Bud Lights. I think I'm some kind of a football prophet. Talk soon. The team needs me.
Anything for Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You're not buying sticks, stems,
Hey, bro,
and pine
the
cones.
weirdest thing is
You're
happening
buying
at the game.
premium long
This
needle
guy sitting
pine
next to
straw
me
from
says,
River
"You're our
Region
good luck
Straw." Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River region, full of color that will last all season long. Kenny has locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. Pickup is available, or your order can be delivered. They can even spread your pine straw if you like. So call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw needs. All right, welcome back in, everybody. About 20 minutes past the hour on this Monday. So glad you are with us here today. As Barry mentioned, we're here on Yellowhammer News and yellowhammernews.com. You can check us out there. Video content, a write-up about the show each and every afternoon. And, of course, on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, Spotify, Apple Tunes. I probably missed a few others, but you can check us out wherever you find your podcast, and we really appreciate it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button.
John has said this before, and I agree with him, that October is the best sports month on the calendar. Yeah. Number 2 has got to be January these days. The only thing that puts January in the number 2 best sports month of the year status instead of number 1 is because there's no baseball in January. Otherwise, it would be it. Because we've got college basketball. You've got now the college football playoff, which will go until the 19th. There are games, a game Thursday, a game Friday. And no, all the bowls are not done as of yet. To answer Plainsman Preston's question, they are not all finished. Well, yeah, I guess they are now with the FCS champion. That's what I was going to say. The FCS championship game is tonight. Illinois State versus Montana State in Nashville.
Wait a minute.
Great.
I need a dog today. What is that game?
It's the FCS, the 1AA championship. Ooh. Illinois State and Montana State. Forget about it. Tonight, ESPN 7:30. I do not know if there's a line on that.
Yeah, I don't know if they line Division II games or whatnot, but hey, we'll find a dog today. Don't everybody sweat it out there. We'll find a dog.
Yeah. Elsewhere, that is basically it. There is all the bowl games are done except for the championship games. You've got the NFL playoffs.
Are the bowl games done? I just feel like you missed out on so many.
You barely knew they began. Why don't you give me this? They're not there anymore.
Huh.
You didn't even realize they were there in the first place. But you've got the playoffs. Robbie from Greenville, want to hear from you.
Yeah.
Crazy nuts game last night. Poor kid for the Ravens. Ooh. The last 10 minutes of that Ravens-Steelers game was absolutely crazy. Last game of the regular season last night, Sunday night, football night in America. Poor kid, Tyler Loop is the place kicker for the Baltimore Ravens. Steelers got a late touchdown, but they missed the extra point. What was it, 27-25? Steelers, Tyler Loop kicks for the Baltimore Ravens at the horn, misses it wide right. Steelers win. Steelers win the division and gets the final playoff spots. Poor Tyler Loop, he kicks it. He's hopeful. Everybody's hopeful on the Ravens sideline. It leaks wide right, and with it, the Ravens could have been in playoffs on that kick.
Yep.
But they are out of the playoffs off that kick.
Yeah, that kid's locker was probably cleaned out before he got off the field and back into the locker room last night. It's life of a kicker in the NFL. It's tough. Not a lot of friends when you blow a game like that could have taken your team to the postseason.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact that the playoffs are here. Wild card weekend begins on Saturday afternoon. A team hosting a game that I got to tell you, about a month ago, I'm thinking, there's no way that team's making the playoffs.
Well, there's
the Carolina Panthers have done it.
Yep, they win because who had to lose? I had all this in my
Falcons
head.
had
the Saints had to lose. The
Falcons win and they fired their coach yesterday.
Well, they're 8-9 for 3 straight games, for 3 straight years. The Falcons fire their GM and their head coach because the Falcons have had a losing record now 8 years in a row.
I'm trying to remember the last time they had a winning record.
Golly. All right, guys, my buddies who are watching right now, I owe you each $10 because I thought you and I had a bet. As soon as I mentioned that they lost 8 losing seasons 8 years in a row, I had bet there's no way Longshore does not take that bait and say, kind of sounds like Auburn. He didn't. I never can.
Well, the problem, I'm not sure Auburn's had 8 wins. That's what fooled me there. When's the last time they've had an 8-win season?
So the Falcons beat the Saints. The Saints had what, a 5-game winning streak?
Yeah.
I still like Tyler Shuck. I still like Kellen.
Well, he threw a terrible interception yesterday, Barry. I mean, they're driving to go down to get in position to win the game, and he throws some little out route that this Falcon DB sniffed out before the snap. Well, and he went 80 for a touchdown. Well, no, I actually got the running back ran him down.
But the playoffs are set. The Jacksonville Jaguars are the 3 seed. The 3 seed in the fabled AFC South. But watch out for the Houston Texans, who have won 9 in a row. I think the Jaguars have won 8 in a row. So we're getting ready for that.
There's some interesting spreads here. I mean, Carolina, as we talked about, a home team, a 9.5-point underdog to the Rams, who a lot of people think might be the best team in the league.
Yeah.
That's probably why they're such a big favorite. Green Bay and Chicago will be playing for the 7th time this year, it seems like, division rivals. Jacksonville's a dog, too. They're a home dog. Got that 12 o'clock slot. I mean, you got to put them on at 12 o'clock. I don't get that one.
Yeah, got them right where they want.
Pittsburgh is a dog. They're a home dog taking on the Texans a week from tonight.
Yeah. Some good games in the opener. Chargers.
And then of course, you got some teams with buys.
Which, as there should be. There needs to be those. So
I guess
So you got
who those teams are. They're not showing me here, but
you got the college football playoff semifinals Thursday. Fiesta, Miami and Ole Miss at 6:30 on ESPN. Friday in the Peach, Oregon and Indiana at 6:30 on ESPN. Anybody out there? John, I thought, was taking a flyer at the beginning of the year when he said, I'm feeling Penn State and Clemson for the national championship. Teams. It turns out to be Ole Miss, Indiana, Oregon, Miami.
So Miami
anybody have those 4? If you tell me you had those 4 as your final 4, you are telling a big old fib.
No, maybe Oregon would have been in the conversation, but certainly the other 3 were not.
Yeah.
Interesting, though, 10-seed Miami, 3.5-point favorite over 6-seed Ole Miss on Thursday.
Miami barely made it in by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah.
And they look good.
They look good.
Say what you want about Oregon shutting out Texas Tech or, Indiana. To me, the Indiana's the best-looking team I've seen out of the quarterfinals, just barely ahead of Miami. Miami looks good to me.
So with looking at the way that the schedule is falling with the playoff, and you mentioned we've got a game this Thursday, we've got a game this Friday. Then the national championship game is 10 days after the Oregon-Indiana game.
Yeah, on the 19th.
Do we need to condense this and streamline it? I've heard the noise of about a 16-team playoff which I don't have a problem with. I think we would, one of the scenarios I heard, it would eliminate the first round buys, that the top 4 teams would just have a home playoff game, which I think is pretty cool.
More campus sites.
Yeah. And, you hear people say, well, the game's getting too much like the NFL. Well, the NFL plays home games until the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The conference championship games are on home site. So I would definitely like to see more of that. What I don't want to see, though, is these long gaps. And do we have to have time take time off for exams? Do we really?
Exams? Yeah, I get it.
Of the 3,000 players that are in the portal, I wonder how many of those 3,000 took an exam. I'm just curious, just wondering.
That was interesting because we mentioned this before with the we mentioned this before with Bo Nix when he was at Oregon. He never went inside of a classroom on purpose. All of his classes were online. After the during or after the Rose Bowl telecast, they were talking about Fernando Mendoza, who has a degree from Cal already in 3 years, and all of his classes at Indiana have been online. It hasn't darkened the inside. So I guess you can take your exams online. Yeah. And that's what a lot of them do. Can you take in your final exams in a hotel room in Marina Del Rey before the Rose Bowl? Sounds kind of odd. But what it does, and again, I don't believe in the 16-team playoff, but I do believe that's where we're headed. And I'm with John on this. It makes sense to, when you add the 4 teams, add 4 campus site games, 4 home games. But I also agree with Dan Lanning, and this flies in the face of tradition. Lanning said a couple of weeks ago, look, stop being scared of the NFL. These games don't need to be on a Wednesday and a Thursday like last. They don't need to be on a Thursday and a Friday this week. They don't need to be on a Monday for the championship game. You're skirting around the NFL. Big deal. Play them. The NFL will dominate the ratings, but I doubt the ratings will fall off that much for the college games. And it'd be a lot easier for the fans to get there on a Saturday and maybe a Sunday than it would on a Wednesday and a Thursday, right?
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
Don't be scared of them.
Just go ahead and play it when you want to play it. There again, I'm not a bean counter. Obviously, these packages and these sponsorships are sold on a belief that our ratings will be somewhere in this general vicinity. And they maybe feel like doing it, not having the NFL to deal with will help out, their bottom line. But you can't live your life being afraid of the NFL. And I'm with you.
Get those games where you can command a better audience. Wednesday night, really?
Yeah. And John from Wetumpka, finally, you're right. Another thing I've been saying for years, they don't care about the fans. The fans are just eye candy. They're worried about what the networks are going to pay them. Ticket sales, gravy. So what? You don't want to show up? I don't care.
So there's college football playoffs. We are on the verge of NFL playoffs. Regular season's over with. And there's really good college basketball. That Auburn-Georgia game was nuts on Saturday. Georgia wins at 104-100 in overtime. Alabama looks strong at home against Kentucky. They did play basketball in and around ISO shots of Nick Saban sitting in the stands with Greg Byrne. Well, they did have a basketball game. I thought it was,
one thing about the Auburn-Georgia game, is it just my TV or does Georgia have the worst looking arena? It's dark. It looks gray. Yeah. I know the floor is kind of funky.
It's about 70 years old. I've said that for years.
It just, I thought, man, is there something wrong with my TV? I don't get this.
It's not. It's not wrong with your TV. It is. Okay. At Stegeman Coliseum. everywhere else, it seems like they've built a palace. Even, Coleman Coliseum, they've done enough. Coleman, as much as I dog it, it's better than Georgia.
Well, Barry, I don't know. Somebody hasn't listened to me about where the media sits. My eyes are still drawn to it. Every time they go to that end of the floor, boom.
Knew we'd say
I'm looking
that.
straight up there.
Yeah.
At that eyesore known as Media Row. Who gives it? They can sit at home and watch the game. You don't need to have them sitting out there for everybody to look at. Get rid of that, Greg. Gee whiz. How many times I gotta
no
tell you?
spaces for the media.
Yeah, just put them up in the dark corners. Who cares?
No wonder when we go to SEC football media days and John walks through, 45 seconds before the show begins, all the media is giving him the stink eye.
Yeah.
There's
the guy. There's the guy that stopped our free meals and our 50-yard line seats and our parking passes. You don't need them anyway. Look, I took advantage of them for many, many years. I finally wised up and said, you know what? I don't need this. They could be making money here instead of giving me and all these other pencil pocket protecting wearing geeks a 50-yard line seat. They don't need it.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I put it to the defendant on the stand right here. Have you ever sat in those media seats off to the left at Coleman Coliseum?
I have once.
Once?
Once. So this is ridiculous. I'm out.
Really? I would have thought you would have. It was beneath you or something. How about
it was
that?
years ago.
Well,
yeah.
Anyway.
But I will say this, Barry. Alabama can run the floor. They can shoot. But obviously it didn't impress our man PM because he is taking advantage of a blowout loss to Indiana in the Rose Bowl and a lackluster defensive effort against Kentucky, against a subpar Kentucky team to take some shots at an in-state rival. You just kind of to maybe ease the pain of what's been going on at the school that he covers. And I got to that's one thing I like about Phillip. When he sees an opportunity, a crack in the armor, he's going to jump on it, using terms like thoroughly blown out by an Indiana team, don't play defense in basketball, not impressed. I'm thinking, oh, wow, okay. Glad to know you're chiming in on what another school in this state's doing.
Meanwhile, in the pot calling the kettle black folder, I was looking at TigerInsider.com.
Now, I don't think those guys are really, journalists.
They're not focusing on Auburn right now for the first time.
Oh, yeah. Now
in
they're
a
over
little
that.
while. All of the jabs and jibes about, hey, I heard Sanford Hall is going in the transfer portal. Aubie's going in the transfer. Nope, it ain't that anymore.
No,
it's all about, hey, is the offensive line coach fired yet?
Boom.
Hey, man, do we still, that wide receivers coach, what's he doing? What about our running backs coach? That's healthy. I like that.
Ryan Grubb been fired yet? Yeah.
Take a break.
Well, let's get to that when we get back from the next break, because that was one of the topics in a roundabout way I wanted to get to today.
By the way, before we go to break, Auburn is at home on Tuesday against Texas A&M, 8 p.m. tomorrow night on SEC Network. Alabama is at undefeated Vanderbilt. Coming up on Wednesday, the Commodores are showing their gold. That as well from Nashville. An 8 o'clock start time.
Yeah,
on
Memorial
ESPN2.
Gym.
Yes, it's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Stivers Ford of Montgomery has Bronco Sports for $8,000 off, Broncos for $10,000 off, or take advantage of the sign and drive lease offer with $399 for 36 or 48 months and 0 down payment.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
Stivers Ford of Montgomery has F-150 $16,000 off or 0% for 66 months. Even Lightning's $16,000 off or 0% for 75 months. And Super Duty's $12,000 off.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level. And the stakes, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch, Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
Okay, we're back at it here, about 20 minutes to the top of the hour. So glad you are with us, Longshore and McKnight, on this Monday. A lot of things we've touched on. Obviously, the portal is the big news, some hoops action as well. But as the dust has settled, Barry, on Alabama's embarrassing loss on New Year's afternoon in Pasadena, it's given us time to reflect, sit back and think long and hard about not only this season, but the 2 seasons of Alabama football under Kalen DeBoer. Multiple losses in both of those years. Some adjustments, obviously different styles, things like this.
Right.
Maybe it's too harsh. Maybe it's too soon. I don't know. I don't think so. We talk about things like this time of year. But about midway through, maybe even before midway, maybe it was right after the Florida State loss in week 1.
Right.
I made the comment because my eyes told something else Philip doesn't like, the eye test, which I'm a big eye test guy.
I'm not.
But my eyes told me this team's not going to win the national championship. This team is not built to win the Natty.
And then thusly, once your eyes told you that, your mouth told our viewing and listening audience that.
Correct.
I think the timing was about right. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Somebody gives you the thumbs down on
So I said, this team is not going to win the national championship, which certainly they didn't come close to doing.
Well, and people, like I said, people took that like John did say it, and I heard it. It's irrefutable. He did say Alabama will not win the national championship. What some dyed-in-the-wool, diehard Alabama fans heard was Alabama stinks out loud. This will be an absolute waste of resources and time to even have football sponsored at the University of Alabama. We need to go ahead and fire everybody and start over from scratch. Because to some people out there, saying Alabama will not win the national championship is a slur. It is.
Well, then let me pose this question. How confident are Alabama fans that that's going to happen anytime soon? You think Alabama's going to win the national championship next year based on what you've seen in 2 prior seasons? I think it's very disturbing that not only has Alabama lost more football games in the last 2 seasons than their fan base is accustomed to, it's in the manner in which they've lost them. Embarrassed and blown out by Florida State in week 1, a Florida State team that finished 5-7.
And I think, yeah.
They're 3 of their last 4 games. They were blown out by Oklahoma. They had a 17-point lead against Auburn and had to hang on to win it. Relinquished that big lead and held on. Blown out and embarrassed in the SEC championship game.
You're not even taking into account.
And fought and clawed their way back to win at Oklahoma.
Did you forget about the Eastern Illinois? Well, yeah, you did forget about it.
I did. I sure did.
Okay, never mind. Scratch that.
And then thoroughly embarrassed against Indiana. So Oklahoma and Norman, and Georgia and Atlanta, and Indiana and Pasadena. Alabama fans hadn't seen anything like that in 17 years. Do you think it's going to get any better? Alabama, there again, they prided themselves on being a very physical, very smash mouth. What did Nick Saban say? We want other teams to quit.
He mentioned a specific body part that he wanted to quit, but his point was he wanted all of their body to quit, not just their derrieres. And how do you do that? How do you force them to quit? Curt Cignetti says the number one thing he learned from Saban about doing that is you run the football. They couldn't.
Well, you got to be able to run it, true, but you got to be physical. You got to be intimidating. You got to hit people. You got to tackle. You got to know your positions. You got to know your responsibilities. We saw that throughout the year. There were some times that the defense looked completely lost. There were times that offensive linemen looked completely lost. So you just in a spring and in a summer, are you able to instill toughness and being a badass and just kicking people's tail? Is that going to happen in the offseason this year? Do you get the sense that Kalen DeBoer is that kind of guy? Or is he some Pac-12, Pacific Northwest, touchy-feely, throw the ball all over the lot, kind of we're gonna out-quick you and out-wit you. We're not going to out-physical you.
We'll go for it on fourth down.
Success in the SEC.
We'll throw a little pop pass on fourth down to a wide receiver going around end. In the past, you wouldn't do that. Legitimate question from our buddy John Dent. Is Indiana's shredding of Bama comparable to Louisville shredding Bama and Gene Stallings 34-7 in the Fiesta Bowl, followed the next year when Bama won the 92 Natty?
Well,
is that
that was Stallings' first season?
Yes.
When they played Louisville. That was the year he started out 0-3, I believe.
And I saw one of those games with my own eyes. I was there in Tuscaloosa.
And I don't know if it was, it was obviously, they blamed it on the weather that they couldn't practice or something, if I recall.
Browning,
but that team was physical. And obviously 2 years later, when they won the national championship, they were extremely physical.
Yes.
But there again, do you see any signs that tells you Alabama's going to kick your tail? There again, I've heard people say before, well, one of Alabama's biggest strengths was most of the teams that they played, they were already defeated before they even showed up. Oh, Lord, here comes big bad Alabama. I don't believe that's the case anymore. They've lost their swagger, if you will. That, man, these guys are tough. They'll hit you. They're well coached. I don't get it.
Talking to some people after church yesterday who were Bama fans, they pointed out that in the last 2 seasons, Alabama has lost 8 games. 8 games. There was a stretch of about 6 years where Alabama didn't lose 8 games in all that time. 8 games last 2 years. 8. And he pointed out that Alabama lost 8 games in the first 2 years under Nick Saban. And what do Bama fans want? He's a Kalen DeBoer guy. One of them is. What do Bama fans want? I mean, he lost 8 games in 2 years, in his first 2 years, but then again, so did Saban when he was at Alabama.
How many of those games did Saban lose by 20 or more points?
I don't know. How, you make it to the college football playoff. You play for an SEC championship. You beat this string of top 10, top 20 teams during the middle of the year, this and that and everything else. What do Bama fans want? And the tone's a little bit different. DeBoer lost 4 games last year. He's lost 4 games this year. Saban lost 8 games in his first 2 years. He lost 6 in his first. He lost 2 in his second, and he won the Natty the next year. So with Saban, and I get what you can say that he did have some trajectory amongst those 8 losses.
But what about, Saban's first year? It was a train wreck.
He inherited
a mess.
Yeah.
I think Kalen DeBoer inherited a little bit better situation. I know some guys hit the portal when Saban left, but I don't think it was as in bad a shape as when Saban got there. But in year 2, you could already see the improvement, the way that they played, the physicality. You could see the athletes on the field. Do you see that after year 2 under Kalen DeBoer?
Not that physicality.
I certainly don't.
I don't see it from anybody else. That physicality, that joyless murder ball Alabama deal where by the fourth quarter, not only could Bama fans luxuriate in the fact that they were winning by 18, but they could look out there and they could see the opposing defense when it was time after your team just punted it. I mean, after Alabama just scored again and they kicked off to your guys. I mean, to the opposing guys. The opposing guys getting on the field going, oh, man.
So I would love to be a fly on the wall in one of these coaches' meetings in Tuscaloosa and just listen in on what is the plan to have a running game. What are they going to do to have some semblance of a running game in 2026? Because it was the worst example of a running attack I've ever seen at Alabama. And I said it last week. Been watching this football program for 50 years. I've never seen a team with as crappy of a running game as this one. You can say, well, the offensive line wasn't that good. Check. I'll agree. There's not a marquee stud running back. Check. I agree. But how are they going to correct this problem? Because they're not going to win until they get it corrected.
Well, they're winning now. They are winning. I mean, they won 9 games and all that. The only thing I'll say, and I don't disagree with you, the only thing I'll say is a question. Is it fair? Is it fair to compare Kalen DeBoer to Nick Saban consistently? Saban did this, Saban did that. Well, Saban was the best college football coach in the history of the sport.
Yeah. Well, I've told my children, life isn't fair, just part of it. It's the real world out there. And we all know the real world and the real Bama fans saying, don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear the excuses. You got every resource imaginable to you. There are tough programs out there that would die to have what you have. And to have no running game at all, to have an offensive line that is just laughable. Yeah. It might be unfair to compare to what Saban had, but in 2 years, going into year 3, what's the confidence level with Bama fan? Oh, yeah, our running game's going to be dynamic next year.
You watch.
Okay.
I'm telling you, A.K. Deer, Kevin Riley, from Bob from Pike Road, 3 quick ones. He said, Bama doesn't play with the type physicality required to win consistently enough to win at a championship level. This is because DeBoer is pass first, run seldom offense. It bleeds into your defense too. Your defense practicing against a finesse offense every day over time makes the defense softer. The O-line at the snap steps sideways or backwards every time. You can't be physical playing O-line that way. It doesn't add up to being able to run the football. Grubb was fired at Seattle because he didn't have a running game. If you don't run the ball, you can't win consistently enough to win the SEC.
Yeah, I heard that about Grubb. I also understand the Seahawks have done a lot better running the football this year.
Yes, they have. Yes.
They matter of fact, I believe they've got a bye in the NFL playoffs.
They do. They do.
It may be an incredible record.
Yeah.
So what did Seattle do in 1 year? Did they go out and find a bunch of free agents for their offensive line?
No, they actually had a good
come back to the Seahawks. Well, what happened up there?
They actually had a good running back. I think Kenneth Walker. I think they underutilized him last year. So there you go.
I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, what is the confidence level of the Bama Nation out there? Gee whiz, it was a tough year. But we're going to be back. We're going to wave the magic wand like we've always done. And this phenomenal John Hanna's coming back to anchor the offensive line, and we're going to get Najee Harris and Josh Jacobs and Derrick Henry are all coming back, and it's going to be great. Okay.
John, 2024, which was DeBoer's first recruiting class, Alabama finished second. 2025, last year's recruiting class, Alabama finished third. This recruiting class, which is just in right now, ranked number 2 in the country.
So what have you done with those recruiting classes? You telling me 11-4, and what were they last year?
9-4?
9-4? Is that what the top 5 recruiting classes will get you? And by the way, of those 2 previous classes, not including this one, how many of them are still there? How many of them have hit the portal? How about Mbakwe there, that 5-star from Clay Chalkville? Yeah, okay, he was a little greedy and wanted some money and maybe was more worried about his money than he was his performance on the practice field. But, hey, you got to know that going in. You got to evaluate these kids. You can't know. You don't know what's in their heart and their mind. Well, you're supposed to get a pretty good idea of the kind of character that these players have. Wonder how many of them are still there.
Next year for Alabama, what?
I go back to let's just hit the reset button. It seems it's funny how we forgot after that miraculous October and they go to Athens and win. Just go back and look at that Florida State game. How do you spend all summer, all preseason camp, knowing you got one team you got to beat to start the year, and you don't even show up? And you got players running out of position, their heads looking around like they ain't got a clue what they're supposed to be doing. How does that happen? That to me. And then some of these games they won in October, it ain't like they were blowing people out.
Oh, come on. They won.
They skirt by Missouri and, lucky as you can be to beat South Carolina, a team that was not any good. And they found a way to come back and beat them, struggled against that team.
Vanderbilt, Tennessee, South Carolina.
Tennessee's terrible. Illinois beat them. Yeah,
now,
LSU,
as well as I
issues.
They'll get somebody in the I do think Ty Simpson's days are over at Alabama.
Well, can Bama win in year 3 under Kalen DeBoer if Ty Simpson's still the quarterback? I mean, I hate to go Jalen Milroe on the kid, but I think his days are over.
I do think they're over too, and I think it's his call on that one because he did. I mean, he was gutsy. I liked him a lot. That as well as I do. 2026, Alabama comes out the gate. They'll beat East Carolina. They'll win at Kentucky. They'll get revenge against Florida State. They'll win at home against South Carolina. They'll go to Mississippi State and win. As well as I do, they'll be 5-0. College game day comes into Bryant-Denny Stadium this coming October the 10th for the Georgia game.
Barry, as well as I
love Kalen DeBoer again because they're 5-0 and ranked in the top 5 again and the darling of everybody's eye. And fans will forget all about this Indiana loss.
Those games you just reeled off, and I couldn't repeat them back to you if I had to, because Bama fans thinking we're going to win those anyway,
right?
Or we should, and if we don't, he won't make it till the end of the year. But those games, they're just something you got to do to get to the meat. And Georgia's the meat. Tennessee,
there's back-to-back, by the way. Georgia.
Auburn, who else?
They go 5-0 to start. Then they've got Georgia, Tennessee, Texas A&M back-to-back.
Yeah.
Then an off week before they go to take on Lane Kiffin's LSU.
So all that giddiness leading up to that 5-0 start, and they go 1-2 against the next 3. Don't matter. Well, hey, he started out 5-0. Don't care. Didn't play anybody. Well, what do you mean? Yeah, that's no way to talk about those teams that practice just as hard as they do. Well, too bad. That's how Bama fan thinks. and they're not worthy. So you better not lose any of those games. And there again, you lose to a Florida State and get embarrassed. You lose to Vanderbilt last year. You lose to Oklahoma last year. I mean, come on. Those are the games that there again. Well, they beat Georgia and Athens. Don't matter. Do you see what happened in Norman last season?
Spoiled. Yeah, that's how Bama fans think. John, that's the problem.
Well,
our buddy way offsides Jeff at the beginning of our chat line, way up there, and we're talking, we were mentioning last week that, Cignetti is the best coach in college football right now. He's back-to-back coach of the year. And he was an Alabama assistant. He had an Alabama background. Way offsides, Jeff said, had Bama hired this dude from JMU 2 years ago, the legion of unhinged gumps, and myself included, he said, would have had a meltdown of epic proportions. So they don't hire Cignetti because they're afraid of how the fans would react. DeBoer wins those games against ranked teams, good teams. John says it don't matter. Bama fans don't care about that stuff. Bama fans, at least if you're going to support the team. But if you're going to be a liability, man, we can't hire Cignetti. Gosh, our fans would burn Denny Times.
I don't know about that because I'm not sure a lot of people knew who Kalen DeBoer was. You're like, what? They're hiring who? So, at least Cignetti was coached under Saban, was a Saban protege. I mean, DeBoer certainly was not. So, I don't, there again, I'm not sure who they could have hired that would really have made everybody completely happy. But I'm with you, Tobias. I get it. And I've said this before. The days of going undefeated are over. And I get that. I don't have a problem with it. But you can't go to Tallahassee and get beat by double digits. You can't lose 3 of your last 4 games by double digits. That can't happen. If you lose a game, you got to be competitive. You got to lose by a field goal or a late touchdown. But getting blown out,
one more.
Very unacceptable.
One more from Bob from Pike Road. He said, I am concerned that if DeBoer wins just enough to never make a change, and Bama will be stuck in a place of playing just good, not great, and never win a championship, and a decade goes by with no titles. That reminds me of somebody talking one time, one of my Braves fans was talking about a Braves shortstop. That was a good player, not a great player. He said, he drives me crazy. Well, why is that? He's a good player. He said, well, he's just good enough to where we can't get somebody great, because they're happy with him the way he is. Same thing with DeBoer. Is that it? He's just good enough to where you can't fire him, but he's not good enough to win a title.
Well, I'm not. I don't know if he's good enough. I mean, is he too soft? That's another thing I hear. Greggy, is it always this way? Is he? Look. DeBoer's a great guy, whatever.
Greg Honey.
But is he too soft? I don't want a soft football coach. And I know it's a different day and age. You got to treat players differently than you did back in our day, back in Saban's day. But football is a tough, physical game. And there's just times I don't see that physicality. I don't see that toughness. And I think it's a reflection of the head coach. So these players want a guy that they're thinking, man, this guy's a badass, and I better not do something stupid or wrong or make a mistake. And there again, I know in the transfer and the NIL era, the players seem to have more power than the coaches do, but you still have got to be an authoritarian figure. I mean, you got to be the buck stops with me.
It's too early to really tell about Pete Golding, although I think he's done a fantastic job, and I always thought he got an unfair rap from Alabama fans when he was the D coordinator. But you look at the 4 teams left. Dan Lanning, I saw him chew somebody's behind out with his club up 10 points and shutting out Texas Tech. You'll see Kirby. Kirby will absolutely rip into one of his guys. Of course, they lost. You look at Cristobal, former tight assistant. He's over there getting in people's faces on a knee on the sidelines.
Yeah, I like that
kind of stuff. And then, of course, you look at Cignetti. Cignetti is the meanest, toughest guy out there, but his players love him. They will play hard for him. Mendoza, I mean, he's changed Fernando Mendoza's life. You know,
Barry, did I read, was Mendoza the quarterback when Cal beat Auburn?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
How did I miss that?
Oh, yeah, because he wasn't anybody.
How did I miss that?
He wasn't. He was a redshirt freshman, no star. Nobody had heard him. I remember that really well. I'm thinking, who in the heck is Fernando Mendoza?
Yeah.
And Auburn could not defend him. I remember that well. Yes.
Soft. Is this Alabama team soft? Were Saban's two teams, his first 2 years, soft? I mean, DJ Hall might have been soft, but, you know, besides him, DJ Hall took a lot of crud, too. You know, he was kind of like an easy target.
19 years ago.
Yeah.
Anybody
talk about Saban's first team, DJ Hall's name's coming up.
Yeah. Ty says the only schools that recruited Mendoza were Cal. You can tell Ty is text talking. He's not typing this.
Yeah.
He says the only schools that recruited Mendoza were Cal and Harvard. Let me translate this. The only schools that recruited Mendoza were Cal and Harvard, and that's not even right. Mendoza out of Christopher Columbus High School, Miami, Florida, the same alma mater as Mike Shula. Mendoza was committed to Yale. When all of a sudden Cal's number one target at quarterback, Cal was recruiting somebody, their number one target at quarterback, and he went somewhere else. And so Cal called Mendoza, who was a really, really good student. You got to be a good student to get into Cal, and said, look, we just need a quarterback. Can you come? And he comes to Cal and he wins the job as a redshirt freshman, and, you know, all of that. So
there again, I pose the question, is Alabama too soft? What is going to happen in year 3 under Kalen DeBoer to make this a harder, physical, tougher football team that can tackle and can run the football and can block? Those are the 3 things to me that have got to happen in the offseason. Got to become more physical, got to get tougher, got to get a better offensive line play, got to run the football.
They had some athletes. I know they got after Mendoza pretty good, especially early. With
the defense, I don't really have a problem with the defense. You'll say, well, how do you say that? They gave up 38 points.
You're talking about tackling, and at the very end, of course, Alabama, I don't think their hearts were in it. But those little running backs, a transfer from James Madison, in the third and fourth quarter, they broke so many tackles just because Alabama, and both of them are good running backs. Kalen Black, I thought, was great. I knew he was great at James Madison. But also, they were physical backs that broke tackles. But by the very end, Alabama was just not interested in tackling anymore.
So,
yes,
the current head coach of the Miami Hurricanes, who is still in the playoff and playing Ole Miss on Thursday night, was a Saban assistant at one time.
Yes.
Could that be the next head coach at Alabama?
Well, we have a couple of people. This is from John Dent. He said the 4 coaches left in the college football playoff are from Saban's tree. If DeBoer is on the way out, all of those coaches should be forced to answer the question about becoming Bama's next coach. Really? Pete Golding's coming back, y'all. Pete Golding. Woo!
No, I don't think about. Really? Yeah, I don't know about Pete Golding. No.
That's my point.
I don't think Cignetti's leaving Indiana.
No, he's going to be 61 years old.
He seems pretty happy there, and he's 66 years old. Exactly.
And Cristobal, that's his alma mater. He's got it rolling pretty good. He's in the ACC, which may hurt him in terms of strength of schedule, but he's always going to be at the top of the ACC.
But is Miami really, really, really? I mean, I know it's your alma mater, but man, the chance to go to the SEC and rekindle probably the second most historic program in all of college football. Ooh, I know that didn't go over real well.
Second, they kept saying over and over again in contrast in the Rose Bowl, Indiana up until this year had lost more games than anybody else in Division I. And Alabama
I'll leave you
was
with
the
this.
third winningest program. And everybody's like, third winningest? Third? Who's won more than?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that didn't set well.
So I'll leave you with this as we go to break. So much to talk about today. So much more to get to as well.
Yes. Uh-huh.
You know, we always talk about you better have a list of names in that bottom left-hand side drawer of your desk or in your back pocket or wherever you're going to keep it. Who do you think the top 3 names on Greg Byrne's list are today? Because you got to have one. I mean, heck, Michigan Michigan allegedly was about to hire DeBoer. Penn State allegedly was about to hire him. If that had happened, who would Greg Byrne have gone after?
And also, coming up, we're going to broaden it just a little bit. You know, we got the Phantom's Daily Dog coming up in just a little while, and Gurn Jr.'s Victoryland 777 topic wheel. But John mentioned this. Who wouldn't love a chance to go from somewhere else and coach in the SEC? Is coaching in the SEC all that anymore? I mean, the SEC, it's been a couple of years since they won a title. I doubt they're going to win one this year. Is the SEC all that anymore, or have they been supplanted?
Man, you sound like a Big Ten guy now.
By the Big Ten. I mean, is it as good as it used to be, or have they taken?
Well, I think the numbers tell you it isn't.
Yes.
It is not.
We'll leave that for
because the Big Ten has got a really good chance of winning their 3rd straight national championship.
Oregon is right there. Indiana is right there. 2 of the Final 4 teams are Big Ten teams. It works out to where they're not going to be an all Big Ten championship game because one of them will knock the other one out in the semifinals. But it is Big Ten, ACC, and the standard bearer for the Southeastern Conference this year, the Ole Miss Rebels.
Yeah.
Is the SEC the be-all, end-all anymore or not? We'll talk about it.
It's a fair question.
When we come back, it's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382. Or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
Hey, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You get a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light. Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here? Oh, Bud Light there. I missed that because of you. You did not miss that play because of me. Tough to stop talking this way? Yeah. It's actually kind of fun. Hey, I got your Bud Light. Oh, nice.
Why Hands?
Anything
the Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. You know, many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272. Okay, welcome back in, everybody. About 15 minutes past the hour on this Monday. Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Tobias with an interesting comment on our River Region Straw chat line. I think this is interesting. Why would any Saban assistant leave a good gig for a national title or bust expectation at Alabama? Okay, I get it. So that leads me to who's on Greg Byrne's list. Here on the 5th of January, you always got to have a list. You never know what can happen.
You know who I like? And I don't, the connection is small and everything. You know who I really like? I like Dan Lanning. I'm a Dan Lanning guy.
Dan Lanning, yeah.
He's young. He's a fire breather. He's really energetic. He presents himself in the University of Oregon well.
I mean, I'd shave that peach fuzz off. I don't, come on, mix in a razor.
There's a couple of things about that. Presentation, it means something. It really doesn't matter how you look. If you could coach, Larry Coker won a national championship at Miami, and he looked like Yoda. That doesn't really ultimately matter, but presentation has something to do with it. And I will be the first to admit, you have taken a step forward since you got the head coaching job, Pete Golding. You got it trimmed a little bit.
Clearly, I got a haircut. Trim that beard up a little bit.
Trimmed it up a little bit, but still. A buddy of mine called him Widespread Pete.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, it's my same buddy who we were talking to yesterday after church. He called him Widespread Pete. I'm thinking, Widespread Pete, what's that? Because he runs a spread offense? He said, no, because he looks like he's the number one fan of Widespread Panic.
Yeah, the bass player, actually.
There you go. Yeah. So, present, it shouldn't mean anything. Obviously, Pete Golding is not going to be the next head coach at Alabama. There's not even an opening. But Lanning, a little shave would be okay.
I mean, would you go into a job interview looking like that? You got to clean up. You got to mixing a razor.
Yeah.
Get the face all clean and shaven.
I remember
your hair, comb it.
Years ago, this is telling tales outside of school. Years ago, I don't remember the circumstances, but John had a facial run-in with some poison ivy. Do you remember that?
I do.
And John got a little irritated facially and he couldn't shave for about 3, 4, 5, 10 days.
Drove me crazy.
And it looked, he looked a little rustic, You put on an LL Bean shirt and, some homespun trousers and give him an axe and he looks like Grizzly Adams. It was not bad. But he complained about it over and man, I cannot wait till this thing subsides so where I can shave. Oh. I'm the same way. I got to shave. It drives me crazy if I don't. How some of those guys can go halfway, they can go, Don Johnson, Miami Vice. I couldn't do it.
About 2 years ago,
not do it.
Barry, I was going to be gone for about a week or so. So I said, I'm going to see what it looks like. So I didn't shave for about 10 days. And what was so disappointing to me about it is my beard was white, kind of like the way my hair's turning.
Yeah.
And I went, that's not a good look for me. Makes me look even older than I look today.
Yeah.
So, some people it looks good on, others not so much. So, you mentioned Dan Lanning.
I like him.
We mentioned Mario Cristobal. What about D'Amico Ryans? Would he leave the Houston Texans?
I love him. And at the beginning of the year, people were dogging him because the Texans didn't get off to a good start, but look at him now. They won 9 in a row. They are as hot of a team as there is in the NFL right now heading into the playoffs. I get the mama called Jazz. I get that. I understand. But it's like we got just a little while ago when we're talking about head coaches from Bill from Baltimore. Is being a college coach the be-all, end-all? Why not just do it at the NFL level and no headaches about the school charade, transfer portal, NIL, having to re-recruit your guys. If you're D'Amico Ryans, you know C.J. Stroud is your quarterback for the next 6 or 7 years. You know that Will Anderson has just got a contract that he's going to be there for a while. You know who that is. In college, every year you've got to re-recruit everybody. You've got to schmooze the alums and the boosters and stuff. D'Amico Ryans would be an excellent college head coach, I believe. But he ain't giving up an NFL. It's not like,
I'm with you. And I think that's another reason that Saban got out, because there was no control. It was more. It was worse than the NFL. The NFL is more structured. You know what's going on, the parameters and the calendar and the whole deal. And it's the wild, wild west in college. So, yeah, I certainly get that. Why leave the NFL? And secondly, as we've said a lot lately, the days of having a coach around for 17 years, I believe, are over. And I think there's going to come a day soon that Kirby Smart's going to go, I've had it. I'm enough of this. I've made enough money. I don't need to be dealing with these headaches day in and day out. Let somebody else handle it.
Along those
I can certainly see that.
Way Offsides, Jeff says, we've been getting to the chat room a lot today.
Yeah, I love it.
Way Offsides, Jeff said, why would Lanning leave Oregon to come to Alabama, where everything he does will be compared to Saban, including the size of his bowel movements? That's a little bit too much of an analogy there. Way Offsides, Jeff. But that's what you were talking about earlier, right? Man, if Alabama would have hired Cignetti from JMU 2 years ago, the fans would have been nuts. It's the fans, man. It's
you telling me
fans holding
that
Alabama's
none of these
choices back?
Disciples would leave their current position because of the comparison? What was the expectation? Is that why they ended up with DeBoer? Because Greg Byrne felt like, well, none of these other guys are going to do it. They don't want to have to deal with it. But, you always hear you want to be the guy after the guy. So would Lanning or any of these other guys be more willing to come now that DeBoer is kind of flamed out? Well, let me be the guy to resurrect it after DeBoer couldn't do it.
Flamed out.
And the reason I bring all this up, folks, let's fast forward to a year from today. And if Alabama is 11-4 or 10-5 or whatever, and has 2 or 3 just embarrassing losses, we're going to be having this same conversation, but it's going to be a lot stronger and a lot deeper. Because I can't, there again, can Greg Byrne afford to go year 4 with Kalen DeBoer if year 3 is like year 1 and 2 have been?
Kalen DeBoer, in his term at Alabama, he is 12-4 in the SEC. He was 7-1 in the SEC this year. 7-1. 12-4 in 2 years. He's won 20 games. He's averaging 10 wins a year in 2 years at Alabama. Did somebody just use the phrase flamed out? Did somebody just say that?
I know in some areas they put a trophy, a statue.
10 wins, averaging 10 wins a year at a school.
Mm-mm.
A flame out. This the only reason why I bring that up, not to gig John, although I like doing that, is to point this out. For a lot of Alabama fans, what John is talking about, that's what they want. In order to get a top-of-the-line coach with some Saban ties, the best thing that could happen in order to make that happen would be 4-8 this coming year for Alabama. 5-7 for this year, no bowl game. They need a true flame out for the pressure to be so high that, that
11-3.
They got to.
I mean, your third season, and if they go, let's just say this, they have a carbon copy season in year 3 like they did in year 2. Well, they finished 11-4.
Yeah.
Did you see some of those losses? Do you really feel confident in year 4 that that's going to change? Was that running game any better? I just don't think they can afford to go to year 4, and they're just doing the same old stuff. And I think a lot of these guys in our chat, Bill from Baltimore, I think in this day and age, why would you leave something good just to come to an Alabama? Heck, I think Michigan found that out. Penn State found that out. Man, these people aren't flocking, tripping all over themselves to get to our school. So we end up with some guy from Iowa State and some old fart from Utah. I don't think those guys were on tops of their list. And
maybe what's happening, again, he's averaging 10 wins in the last 2 years. And, yep, he is averaging 4 losses in the last 2 years. But he has lost as a head coach, and he's been a head coach for 11 years. He has lost 20 games. 8 of those 20, he is 124-20 as a head coach. 8 of his 20 losses in his entire career have come at Alabama. Maybe, can we admit to the possibility that some of it is Alabama and not just him?
Well, what? So explain that.
So
what do you mean?
Maybe
he's Alabama fans' expectations.
How difficult is it for players to read social media and see Bama fans absolutely dog cussing Wilkin for me, or Seth McLaughlin, or what's the guy's name? Gino Whiffen Formby, and Gino.
I heard it a lot stronger than
somebody.
That. Or, I mean, Proctor, how many times he get beat by some athletic defensive end? Like his feet were in sand. It was ridiculous.
It's a little difficult.
So of those losses,
Barry,
and I don't have it in front of me, but I can vividly, I'm in the ballpark.
Yeah.
Nebraska, Oklahoma last year, Georgia in the championship game, the Indiana game, the Florida State game. Did Mike Shula ever lose games by that large of a margin?
Ooh, I'm going to have to look that up.
I mean, when you think about it that way, that Mike Shula won 10 games one year. Yeah, but did he get beat by 30 points in a game?
A loss is a loss.
No, it is not.
A loss is when you lose, it is an L. Now, some losses are betting losses. Some losses you don't want them to lose by large margins because you bet them to cover a small margin. But if you lose, the nature of those losses.
Okay, let's go back to Gene Stallings. His first year starts out 0-3. All 3 of those losses were relatively close. They, single digits, maybe 10 points. He goes out and gets beat by Louisville 34-7 or something. I'm walking out of that stadium going, what in the hell just happened? I came all the way out here for that.
Gene Stallings, the fabled Beebs. He was the one we should have hired back whenever we hired Curry, and and this and that, and Bob Bockrath, and blah, 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 and this and that. I remember walking out of the stadium. That was when my sister Jenny was still a student at Alabama. She was in grad school. My brother Mike, wearing his Kerwin Bell jersey when Florida, that third game you're talking about, Florida blocked a punt. They ended up beating Alabama. And afterwards, 3 games in, we went back to my sister Jenny's apartment, and all of her classmates, dog cussing Gene Stallings. What in the world are we doing? They ended up going 7-5 after starting 0-3. And then the next year.
Well, they beat Tennessee and Auburn that year.
Sometimes a win is a little bit more than just a win.
And I saw this over the weekend, too, when I was doing all my thinking and research about Kalen DeBoer. Arkansas beat Alabama bad in 93. I don't know what the score was. I don't even know who was on that Arkansas team, but I do remember that was a bad loss in 93. But I go back to my Mike Shula statement. I mean, did Mike Shula ever lose a game by 30 points? I don't think so.
It does John's point better. John knows this. It's easier for John to sell this point if he doesn't know the answer. If he just says, can anybody tell me? I don't think they did.
Yeah.
It sells it a lot better.
See, Barry, I want to engage our audience to get them more involved in what we're doing. So they'll Google it real quick. Mike Shula's worst loss. They go, look at that. Longshore was right. Huh.
Yeah. He didn't know. He said he didn't know, but he must be right.
Barry, it's kind of like the eye test. I got a feeling Mike Shula never lost a game by 30 points. I just got a feeling. It's like the eye test.
I'm trying
and my eyes
to
have been it worked pretty well for me in all these 62 years. Sometimes I miss out. Sometimes I miss one, but who knows?
Did Arkansas beat Alabama
I
badly
think in 93 or something?
93, Alabama won it 43-3. Is it a blowout if they ended up having to forfeit that game because of NCAA sanctions?
There was an Arkansas game that they beat Alabama. I don't know the exact year because that would have been the year after the national championship game. I want to say Alabama didn't lose till after 93.
In 1998, Alabama lost in Fayetteville 42-6.
Maybe that was it. 98.
Yeah, that's the closest one I can
was that
see.
There weren't many. Was that a Dubose game?
1998 in September of 98. Had to be. That was Dubose, right?
That was. So there again, I got my Mike right. It was Mike Shula, but Dubose is another story because, geez, but I don't think Shula lost a game by So all you people out there that give Shula so much crud and don't want to give him a little recognition after the first time out in the first quarter to bring him on the field and have a little fan appreciation, that guy never lost by 30.
Yeah.
That
ought to be on his resume.
Yeah.
Hey, he never lost by 30.
And here you got
John is a Mike Shula guy.
On a national stage at the granddaddy of them all in the famed Rose Bowl, where it's in the fight. Are they got to take that out of the fight song?
I got sick of seeing that in all the social media leading up to that game. The Rose Bowl is in the shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
If you lose by 35, do you still want it in the fight song?
Ooh. I'm just saying, people, there is no reason to fire Kalen DeBoer. Yeah, I know he hasn't won a national championship in his 2 years. Alabama hasn't won a national championship in 6 years.
Okay, I want to vote the record to state. I've never said Kalen DeBoer should be fired.
No. That's
I want
true.
that to be on the record.
Yes.
I'm just saying if Kalen DeBoer goes 11-4 next year, and of those 4 losses, 3 of them are by double digits, 2 touchdowns or more. That isn't going over real good, particularly leading into year 4. You know what? I know he lost 3 games by double digits, but dadgummit, I feel really good about year 4 under Kalen DeBoer. Come on. You got to sell that somewhere else. I ain't buying that.
Well, I don't think it happens either, but then again, it got away from him a little bit this year. I think he will be forced.
Away from? Well, it started in Tallahassee. Did it get any better?
It did get better, but then it got worse again once people started figuring them
See,
out.
People forget about that game in Tallahassee. Pardon the pun, but I'm like an elephant. I don't forget. I'm thinking, what in the hell am I watching here today? This is absolutely embarrassing. This is laughable.
They beat Georgia, though. They beat Tennessee. They beat Auburn.
Tennessee got beat by Illinois in a bowl game. Give me a break. Auburn didn't go to a bowl game. They struggled like hell to get out of Jordan Hare with a win. Up 17,
for those people,
let that one choke away.
We're going to talk a little bit more about Auburn on another day. John's on a roll here, but sooner or later, people are going to start insisting for a Phantom Daily Dog.
Yeah, that's
today.
coming up. Yes.
It's next.
Yep.
It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information.
The dreams that matter most happen while we're awake, because they're the ones that remind us of the places we want to go, of the ideas we plan to pursue, of the legacies we hope to leave. We understand you have goals to meet, and we want to help you reach them, to fuel your vision and invest in whatever motivates you. So we want to know, what inspires you? Synovus Bank, member FDIC.
Prattville Carpet is the most trusted name in flooring in the River region. Ray Bowles and his staff have an extensive line of Mohawk, stain-resistant carpeting in all the latest styles and colors. Prattville Carpet also has hardwood, vinyl, and ceramic tile for all of your flooring needs. Professionally installed at the absolute lowest prices. Take advantage of cash and carry vinyl plank at just $239 a foot. Call them today to set up your free measurement for your home, office, lake house, hunting camp, or wherever you need flooring. 285-8117. That's 285-8117, or drop by 2201 Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville for Prattville Carpet. All right, welcome back in. Glad you are with us here. 24 minutes to the top of the hour on this Monday show. All right, the Daily Dog. People have been asking. Good week last week, as a matter of fact. Went into Friday's dog 3-0.
Oh, yes.
We didn't have one on Thursday because we were off for New Year's Day. It was the what used to be the San Diego County Poinsettia Bowl. I'm not real sure what it's called now.
The San Diego County Federal Union Poinsettia Bowl. Okay, that was
Arizona.
It's the Holiday Bowl now.
Holiday Bowl. Yeah.
Arizona versus SMU.
Yep. The Ponies and the Wildcats. SMU was a 1-point favorite in that game. We had Arizona plus the one. Ralph Michaels even liked Arizona. He mentioned that on Friday's show. Unfortunately, the Wildcats came up a little bit short. SMU wins at 24-19. So we don't cover with the one that we received. That was a tough one.
Yes.
Yeah, but hey, still had a winning week.
Yep, 3-1 week, heading into a brand new week and a brand new year.
So it's a thin card tonight, Barry, but that does not matter.
Yes.
Because there is a really, really good game in the association tonight. In the NBA, you can watch it on Peacock at 6 p.m. tonight.
Oh, it's the first game. The first game of the night on Peacock, and it's taking place in the Motor City.
Motown. Man, remember those Bill Laimbeer teams back in the day? That was NBA basketball.
Isaiah Thomas and Rodman and Laimbeer. And they would beat the absolute snot out of you and stand over you. And
cheap shots, elbows.
Laimbeer would get into a fight all the time. It was
so good. Yeah, it was awesome. All right, so tonight the Pistons, Barry, who are leading the Eastern Conference, the entire Eastern Conference. They're like, 15 teams in the Eastern Conference. They are leading.
Yep, 26-9.
Yeah. They're a one-game winning streak. They've won 6 out of their last 10. They're 12-3 at home.
Is there such a thing as a one-game winning streak? Is one game a winning streak?
Yeah.
Well, for the fan of it is, I guess.
Yes, you better believe it.
You got that.
They are
right.
hosting the New York Knicks, who are in second position, 3 games out of first place, on a 3-game losing streak. And the Knicks are a favorite?
In Detroit?
What am I missing here?
Who's hurt?
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, don't matter, because we're not going to let the Knicks come into our home turf and take a game away from us. And the so-called experts out there
Love this.
think we're the underdog. No way. Not going to happen. So we're cashing our ticket early today with the Pistons plus 2.5 at home, 6 o'clock tonight on Peacock, taking on the New York Knicks. We like the Pistons.
Yes. That's a strong one. That's a strong one to start the week from the Phantom in the
ready,
Phantom
folks.
Daily Dog.
The NBA, college hoops, we're all over it.
Yes.
So get ready, because we got some hoops that we're going to be releasing for the Daily Dog. And I know what all you baseball fans are saying out there, all 4 of you.
Pitchers and catchers report this month.
You did real well in that baseball during the summer. We know. Just be patient. More of that's coming too.
You know, there are some people out there who would bet on sliding a pickle over some mustard, slinging it up against the wall, against the glass, and bet. Don't necessarily have to like pickles, but you're going to bet on pickles if it wins you something. Same thing with baseball. You don't have to like baseball in order to, win a little cash on it. There's nothing against us.
That's right.
There is
So
a little time. The next playoff game is Thursday. It's the Fiesta Bowl outside Phoenix. Miami and Ole Miss at 6:30 ESPN. Friday, it's the Peach, Oregon versus Indiana in Atlanta, 6:30 ESPN as well. So between now and then, basically, you've got basketball on the college level, basketball in the NBA, and not a whole lot left. Here's a question for you. One more Alabama thought, and coming up just a little.
Okay.
It's the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel about Ty Simpson, indirectly related to this post from Tobias. He says, here's a fun question, gentlemen. If you are Dante Moore, who's the starting quarterback for Oregon, projected along with Mendoza to be, the top pick in the draft. He said, would you declare for the NFL draft now and get drafted by the Jets or return to Oregon? I tell him to return to Oregon. If he is the number 1 pick, it would be the Raiders, who are a mess. He'd get coached.
What they finish, 2-15 or something?
Let's
like
see.
that. I think so.
There were 3 of them, I think, had the same record. The Raiders were 3-14. Tennessee was 3-14. The Jets were 3-14, and for what that matters, so was Arizona. So, but anyway, the Raiders would get the number 1 pick. He would get the snot beat out of him. What about? And again, Dante Moore is all that. He is a terrific talent. Fernando Mendoza, maybe not as physically talented, but physically talented enough. Very, very smart guy. Intangibles out the roof. Can make all the throws you need and all that. One of those 2, I believe, is going to get drafted in the first pick of the NFL draft. And right after those guys, Ty Simpson. Simpson is
really. I mean, look, I missed.
That's my question.
My evaluation of college quarterbacks that I thought could make it in the NFL. Because when this subject comes up, Ryan Leaf's name always gets inserted into the conversation somehow.
I bet in 1998, when John and I had only been together for less than a year, nobody compelled him to. There was no threat of violence or anything. No. John said that he believed at that moment that Tennessee senior quarterback Peyton Manning would not have as good an NFL career as Washington State senior quarterback Ryan Leaf
That is a
was
fact.
destined to have. Now, I know
thought
this
Ryan
kind
Leaf
of
had some Dan Marino qualities to him.
Yeah, could throw the ball 1.5 miles. Now, I realize it's all subjective, but there's a lot of people out there who believe that Manning's career was superior to Ryan Leaf's NFL career. I don't know how they judge these things.
I think the history books will
probably
that.
substantiate that.
Yeah.
And that was 1998. Not that that matters, because we still talk about a college quarterback from 15 years ago quite a lot. But in that time,
I think I said I thought he'd have a pretty good pro career.
And he did.
Yeah.
Now, and in that time, I do believe John has taken a little bit too much crud for that. But, you know, this is slings and arrows of outrageous fortune.
Mm-hmm.
Ty Simpson. Tobias says, if I took a shot every time Ty Simpson bailed out of a good pocket, I'd have alcohol poisoning. The Skycast is very revealing. Now,
so
Ty
Tobias
has tons of heart. He got the snot knocked out of him all year long because nobody respected Alabama's ability to run the football. He got beat up and down left and right. He had to leave the game against Indiana, and some of the Bama fans, good. It was about time to give somebody else a chance, not realizing that he fractured a rib. Now, with all that being said, I wouldn't blame him for bailing out of a good pocket because it happens so infrequently.
McShay or Mel Kiper, but my eyes tell me Ty Simpson has got a lot of work to do before he is a really good NFL quarterback. Unlike what these so-called draft experts tell us, that at one point in time in the regular season, he by far, no doubt about it, number one pick, the most ready to be an NFL quarterback. I'm thinking, what am I missing here? What am I not seeing? And as the season progressed, we kind of saw him. We didn't hear McShay, and we didn't hear all these so-called draft pundits crowing about Ty Simpson. Now, I did hear Greg McElroy say something last week about Ty Simpson and his future, which I still kind of scoffed at it and hadn't heard Greg say anything about it after the.
What was the tone? Was he positive about it?
Oh, very positive. Thought he was the best quarterback out there in the playoffs. I'm thinking, whoa, okay. So I'm not sold that Ty Simpson is going to be. The NFL teams are drooling to draft him. But what about Ty Simpson transferring? Could he go Bo Nix on us and go somewhere else and maybe blossom and have this blowout season and be the quarterback that some of these draft experts claim that he is?
Where would be a good spot?
I mean, if somebody was interested in having Ty Simpson, I got to think he'd make a lot of money. I don't know what Ty Simpson's making now, but does Alabama go, well, do they go Jalen McBopway on him and go, well, you know, this is what we paid you this year, but we're thinking about paying you this much for the next year. So
yeah, because you didn't really, earn your paycheck.
Get a better offer somewhere else. I mean, we'll pat you on the back, say good luck.
Joey Aguilar is run out of eligibility at Tennessee, I think. Who knows anymore? The Volunteers may need a quarterback.
Hey, if this quarterback at South Florida doesn't work out for Auburn, maybe Simpson could go over there.
There is a little conversation about Alabama's transfer portal, guys. I don't want to get off the subject, but Olaus Allonen, the Swedish offensive lineman that they loved, 6'4", 6'6", 301. He's in the transfer portal, and he is taking a visit to Auburn.
He had that white jumpsuit on with a bunch of bling. Is he the guy from Finland or something?
Yes. Yeah. Finland, Sweden,
Yeah. I knew the minute I saw that eye test, kid can't play.
Yeah, no I mean, if he was auditioning for the reunion band for Flock of Seagulls, maybe.
Yeah.
But
he ran. He ran all the way over to Auburn.
So far away. So anyway, Ty Simpson transferring?
I'm just
He's the
throwing
starting. It would be healthy for Bama fans because so many starting quarterbacks at good programs are in the transfer portal. Good programs. It'd be healthy for Bama fans to lose their starting quarterback to another school. It can happen to you.
Well, Bama fan, here again. I know it's early. We're the 5th of January. But do you really want Ty Simpson as your starting quarterback in 2026? Really?
Why not?
When you're amongst your buddies and your little private conversation, you know who you are. You probably one of the guys you're sitting around having some Bud Lights, and somebody goes, I'll just go ahead and say it. I think Ty Simpson needs to move on. Guy takes a sip of his Bud Light and he goes, I wasn't going to bring that up, but since you have, I'm with you. I think you're dead on.
Give me a second to get into my notes app on my iPad here because I've got this saved. Okay, here it is. Bama fan quotes. Okay, here we go. Bama, scroll down. Here it is. Okay. Yeah. Hey, Fred, did you hear about this backup quarterback we have at the capstone? I'm saying we should bench the starter and play this backup guy because he was a 5-star and he is already so much better than the starter we have that it's not even funny. Is that what applies here too? Like it did with Billy Ray and Jeff Dunn and Gene Newberry and Cooper Bateman and Blake Barnett and Star Jackson and Danny Woodson. It's a tradition. And a tradition.
I don't know how many of those guys were starting at the end of one season and were benched at the beginning of the next. I'll have to look into that.
But he's not going to look into it. He made his point just by saying that. Yeah. Keelan is the golden goose. I doubt if Debo asked him to sit another year behind.
Well, Jeff, that's where I'm getting at here. Kalen DeBoer was his most successful season in big-time college football. Yeah, I'm not counting Sioux Falls, South Dakota, wherever the heck he coached. But at Washington was when he had Michael Penix as his quarterback. I don't get the feel Ty Simpson's in the Michael Penix mold. I do think Austin Mack and Keelan Russell are. And I think that's where they're going to have to go in year 3 after, I got to play this guy because he was the starter before I got here. And this kid's been waiting around for 4 years. And, maybe I ought to do this. Being Mr. Nice Guy, those days are over. You got to put the best players on the field. If you got to hurt some feelings, so be it.
The point is a good one. Again, Alabama fans are notorious for loving themselves some backup quarterback, loving him, whoever he is. Golly, you guys, if you haven't seen Brandon Avalos play, you're missing a real treat. That stuff happens all the time. I get that. But also, people think about the example put in Athens, where Jake Fromm was a starting quarterback, led him to a national championship. I get that. And they let Justin Fields go to Ohio State, and he played him in the next. People kept saying, why in the world did Kirby let Justin Fields go for Jake Fromm? That's the thing. When we come back, it's our Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel to close out our Monday show of Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to Banking Above and Beyond at River Bank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. River Bank and Trust.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
Okay, here we go. Here's the Victoryland 777 topic wheel. 6 topics, and we have no idea what they are. That's what makes it fun. Let's spin away and see where we land.
Brought to you by Victoryland 777 Casino. Big Man T.
Big T.
Maybe it's Big Man TD. We'll
technical
see.
foul.
Yeah.
Big Man
could be
T.
That. Big Man T.
Okay, it is a football game.
Oh, yeah, Tommy Togiai.
Oh.
Watch this. This is Texans and the Colts.
Ooh.
Here he goes. Bump, bump, rumbling, stumbling. Togiai scores for the Texans.
Nice.
It ultimately proved to be significant. Again, the Texans, they are all that. That's a lineman's dream.
Kind of like that late touchdown from the Saints
Alabama Crimson
against the Falcons. That was an interesting touchdown as well.
Yeah, they ended up getting down by just 2, but they couldn't get the onside kick. And there's a lot of Saints fans who didn't care. Big deal.
What big
we
deal?
got that touchdown we needed.
The Texans don't need to wear those uniforms again. Those are not good.
Don't like them. No,
those
I don't
are not
like them. No.
All right, let's see what else we got here. I thought that was going to be a
bad
basketball, that big man tee, like some center got teed up. I love a good technical foul.
Dirty Birds.
Speaking of the Falcons, here we go.
Dirty Birds, which was a dumb nickname
pretty
for them
stupid.
to call it Dirty Birds. All right, Dirty Birds.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. The Panthers, everybody was waiting. The Panthers and the Bucs.
There's that pick.
Here we go. There's that pick 6. The Panthers fans going nuts. They had it on the TV. Not pick 6, but the pick to get in the red zone. The Saints, if the Falcons win, the Panthers are in. If the Saints win, then the Buccaneers would have been in. So everybody's sitting there watching it. And for some reason, the Saints, who have been playing really well, end up losing that game. Carolina, they're all 8-9, but Carolina wins it because of head-to-head and all that stuff, and they're heading to the playoffs.
Yeah. That was a tough one. All right. Let's spin away. 4 to go. Let's see what we got. Blue, red, green, yellow. Those are the colors.
Oh, there's been some house cleaning already in the NFL.
Yeah, there have. Isn't this Black Monday, Barry? Isn't that what they call it in the NFL?
Browns head coach is gone. Falcons head coach is gone.
Don't the Browns fire their coach every other year?
Seems like it. Oh, yeah. Kevin Stefanski relieved of duties. They were, 5-12. I thought he was a good coach. But
there's another When have the Browns not been 5-12?
Jeez.
They're terrible every year.
Here's the bad thing. They had a little bit of a surge late. My buddy Gunner, I feel you. They had 11 wins a couple of years ago. This year, they're back to what? Here's what I don't want to see. A late surge. Shedeur Sanders got wins over Joe Burrow. They beat Joe Burrow yesterday. Aaron Rodgers. And everybody says, hey, the Browns have found their quarterback for the future. Don't get caught up in that. Shedeur Sanders ain't him, Browns fans. Whatever you do, whoever you hire, you got a lot of things to find.
Yeah.
Finding a quarterback is number 1.
I think the Saints have found their quarterback, though. Even though he did throw that pick, but I think they found their guy.
Chuck.
Okay, 3 more to go. Let's see what we got here. I think we can squeeze them in. You better believe it. Let's see what we got.
Let's hit this one.
Victoryland Casino, exit 22 off 85, Shorter, Alabama. Open 24/7, 365.
That's good eyes, John. Black Monday. You saw that on there. Black Monday. It's a bad day. Stefanski gone. Raheem Davis is gone as the coach of the Falcons. General manager Terry Fontenot is gone. Raheem's been fired by about 3 coaches.
No kidding. This guy's
what the gist is on Atlanta talk shows yesterday and today? Kirby Smart. Kirby's sick of having to go. This is what they're saying. Yeah. Sick of having to go through all of this portal mess and all this NIL mess and stuff like that. They'll sell tickets. He knows how to win.
Kirby was with Saban with the Dolphins those 2 years.
There you go. Yeah. He's had some NFL
experience.
The NFL head coaching job is so much easier
Yep.
than the college head coaching job. It's hard to win, but the lifestyle's a whole lot easier.
Right about that.
Yes.
It's pretty bad when the GM and the head coach gets fired. Whew.
Yeah. Starting all over. Arthur Blank.
The owner is not happy.
No.
All right, 2 more to go. Let's see what we got. I think we can squeeze them in. Let's certainly try.
All right.
Blue and red is what we got. Spin away. See where it lands. I think I'm going red.
The show goes on.
Yeah, that's what they say about us.
Over and
Let's see what we got here. Oh.
Joe Buck got a black eye. Those are his 2 kids. I was about to say he became a father late.
Yeah,
breaking
good
up
for
a
him.
fight
Good for those
between
kids.
his twin brothers.
Yeah,
Took a
good
knee
for
to
those
the
kids.
eye.
Roughhousing, couple of haymakers.
Over here
Beautiful.
in my library, I've got Joe Buck's book. It's called Lucky. I can't say the other word. And he's very transparent about his hair plugs and about his home life when he was a kid. His dad had an affair with somebody right after, and he was the first one that his dad had after his new wife and all this.
Wow.
He doesn't mind doing that. 7-year-old twin sons. They had a fight. Took a knee to the face.
Ooh.
Knee to the eye, got a black eye on there, and he'll share it. He doesn't care, if he's going to show all his hair plugs, he'll show a black eye.
Okay.
But
Did he also break his wife's ankle on the golf course? That's what Bill from Baltimore's telling us. Huh? Those grips must have been slick. I told you to put some stickum on them. Yes, sir. My fault.
Tips him 25 cents.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to it. Final one. Here we go.
One more to go. Here we go. Got to spin it to make it official, and its order is set.
Oh, yeah, here we go. This is draft order. Here we go. Raiders number 1, Mel Kiper. Raiders, who are they going to get? They got to get a quarterback. Will it be Dante Moore? The Jets number 2, they'll get the other quarterback.
I didn't realize Arizona was as bad this year. Wow.
Oh, yeah, it's just nobody cares in Arizona. Yeah. Kyler Murray, is it about time to fish or cut bait with him? Maybe a quarterback. The Titans, they have different needs. I like their quarterback, Cam Ward. The Giants are a huge mess. The Giants have got so many things wrong with them. I got to figure out who the Giants coach is going to be because it ain't Dable.
And the Commanders, man, the bottom fell out of that team. Eesh.
Yeah, when the quarterback.
There we are. There we are. 6 and 11.
Biggest need, wide receiver.
Yeah.
Olave.
I saw a stat that the starting 4 wide receivers for game 1 were not the same ones that started yesterday.
But you're comfortable with Tyler Shuck being the quarterback.
I'm hearing a lot of good things about him.
I am too. I think
a lot of good things about him.
There you go.
All right. Tomorrow, Brian Matthews, AuburnSports.com will join us. Also, Travis Ryer on YouTube will be a part of the program as well. More thoughts about some of the discussion we had today. Is Alabama too soft to win it all under Kalen DeBoer? And there again, your homework assignment, did Mike Shula ever lose a game by 30 or more points as the head coach at Alabama?
If you find out that he had, there will be discussion as to why that didn't really count. Also tomorrow, promise more discussion about a truly transitional period at Auburn University. Yes, we'll talk a little Auburn football tomorrow as well. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.